thank you all for serving as a Richland 1 Principal for a Day and for joining us at today's reception. Principal for a Day is one of our most popular and successful community engagement initiatives, so we are honored to have you all with us today. Whether this is your first time or you're returning, we hope you had a wonderful day and you enjoyed being a principal and learned exciting things happening in Richland 1. I would like to take a moment to thank all the principals who allowed our participants to shadow them today. Your support truly makes a huge difference, and we could not do this without you. Let's give them a round of applause. Your hard work does not go unnoticed. Now I'd like to recognize the members of the Richland 1 Board of School Commissioners. I see Chairman Lomanak. If you would please wave or stand, and can we give him a hand, please? I'd also like to recognize Dr. Walker and members of the executive leadership team. If you would please stand or wave. At this time, I'll ask Board Chairman Robert Lomanak to bring greetings on behalf of the Richland 1 Board of School Commissioners.
Thank you all so much for being here. I really want to thank all the community folks who participated in today's event. And I want to thank all the folks from Richland 1 who made today's event happen, because it takes a lot of planning and organization to make sure it's not a disaster. So thanks to all of you. When I was a teacher, I would close my doors at 8 a.m. at Dreher High School or Hand Middle School and thought, man, I wish I was a principal, because I bet they're doing like online early Christmas shopping right now. I have since learned that that is in fact not true. And I was meeting with a wonderful principal who happens to be here today. I will not say his name, but a couple years ago, and he said, Mr. Lomanak, you're doing such a good job talking about teachers and the staff. He said, but don't forget us principals. And he wasn't being mean or critical, but I did think, I've got to learn more about what principals do. And they have, I'm not going to say it's an impossible job, because it's not, because principals are doing it, but it is one of the toughest jobs that I have ever seen in my life. The amount of knowledge that you have to hold, and then the way you have to implement that with your teachers and staff in a supportive way, while also pushing, while also taking all the calls about the small and big things that you hear about, while also going to a basketball game that starts at 9 p.m. or even worse, a baseball game in February that ends at 11 when it's cold. But what we do know is that teachers matter in every one of our classrooms. Staff matter in every one of our classrooms and hallways and cafeterias. And the number one reason, and we've known this for decades, the number one reason people stay at their school is because of the principal. If you've got a great principal, you will have a great staff, a great group of staff members and teachers, and a great school. So to all of our principals, I'm still learning about all the things that you do. I'm still learning about all the balls that y'all juggle and the plates that you spin, but I really do appreciate what you do every day. And to all the community members who participated today, I hope you got a sense, and I've heard from some, you definitely got a sense of how many things principals address every single day. Thanks to all of you for all that you do as community members, and principals for all that you do for our teachers and staff in Richland 1. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right, Principal 4 Days, it's your time to shine. I would like to invite some of you to come up and share your thoughts, observations, or even something new you learned during this experience. Now, this is volunteer driven, but if I don't have any volunteers, I will call on a few of you. Oh, I already have one. Oh, I have a few. Y'all make my job so easy. Okay, let's start with you, Ms. Jones. And please say your name and the organization you're with.
Yes, of course. Good evening. My name is Aisha Jones. I am with Women's Rights and Empowerment Network, better known as WREN, Advocacy and Statewide Policy Organization. I had the amazing opportunity to be principal for a day at Forest Heights Elementary. I already knew that there's a lot of hard work that goes into being a principal, but I have a newfound level of respect because it is not just about taking care of and nurturing those children when they come into that school. It's about leading staff. It's about leading adults, which sometimes is a lot harder to do than leading children. The staff at Forest Heights Elementary School are so plugged in. They work so well together. They took great care of me. I really did feel like principal for a day, honestly, y'all, because we hit the ground running and there was a lot going on this morning. But so many wonderful things happening at that school, and there were so many moments that stuck with me. The way that that staff is able to build trust and relationships with those children was everything. I remember to this day, my favorite elementary school teacher. So the relationships that they are building with the students, the parents, will carry these kids far beyond elementary school. But they work so hard to take care of these children. They work so well together, y'all. It was so cohesive over there. I'm not just saying that because I'm a little biased because I happen to think that was the greatest school because I was there. But it was really an amazing, amazing time to watch how those children just entrust the leaders at that school. And Principal Green, shout out to you because you took me under your wing and showed me all of the things I learned. I got a master class on restorative practices when it came to these children. And so I'm thrilled to have been able to participate in this program. I have already reserved my spot for next year, so please look out for me to be back. But thank you, Richland 1. You made a great point. Leadership at these schools, the principals are the leaders of these schools, and staff looks to them for that leadership. And whether your staff stays or goes, typically rests on the shoulders of that principal. And Forest Heights, y'all are doing an amazing job over there. So as they told me today, welcome to the Forest. I was glad to be there in the Forest with y'all all day. And I can't wait to be back. So thank y'all.
Well, I'm actually gonna one-up her, okay? Because I'm one of the few people in the room that can probably say that their principal was a past middle school teacher, principal of the state. So I had an awesome time with Dr. Robin Coltrane. She's back there in the back with the yellow on, yellow gold. No. And I can also say, how many of you all had ribeye for lunch today? Okay. See, I told you I was going to one-up her. I probably 10-up her right now. But I had an awesome experience right across the parking lot at W.A. Perry, and I could not remain in my seat and forego this opportunity to tell Dr. Robin how much I enjoyed working with her today. And I hope it's not the last time. I could probably do this once a week with her, as a matter of fact, because she was awesome, how she worked with the students. You could see the passion that she had. And I mean, it's so much passion. The staff loved her. The children loved her. And I could just stand here for hours on end just saying how awesome she was at W.A. Perry. And W.A. Perry is a school that's really has arrived. I was talking up and coming. They have arrived. W.A. Perry has arrived. I don't care what because when you can take children from a low income area and make them feel like they're somebody, you're doing an awesome job. And I can say thank you, Dr. Coltrane, for taking me under your wings and showing me how to be a principal, at least for one day.
Good afternoon, everyone.
And don't forget to say your name and your organization.
My name is Kevin Myers Jr., owner of E&E Promotions.
All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is James Hamilton. I'm the Vice Polemark Vice President of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Columbia SC Alumni Chapter. Yo, I see some brothers out there. I was the principal of the day at Logan Elementary. And I want to give my appreciation to Principal David Copeland. Our morning started this morning at 7 o'clock. That meant I had to get up where I live at 5:15. That's okay. But it started to give me at home a great appreciation what a principal and the staff does. I got to the school at 10 till, met the receptionist, a warm, lovely greeting, and she introduced me to Principal Copeland. 7 o'clock, the car rider line starts. We went out to the line. I was amazed. Every child that got out of the car, Principal Copeland was calling their name. Can you imagine that? Every child. They would hug him. The parents would walk up, they're greeting him. What I saw was relationships that have been built, not only within the school, but around in the community. This was my first 30 minutes, what I saw. I said, yes, wow. After the car line, we went to the office. There was parents, a couple with their child waiting. Wonder what that was all about. In other words, now we have a meeting. The parents wanted to speak with the principal about a situation that was going on in the class with the child. I'm not going to get into specifics, but what I'm going to get into is Principal Copeland took the time to listen. A lot of time we don't take time to listen. We want to interject, thinking that we have all the answers. He took time to listen, to hear the side of the parents, and also hear the side of the student. He took notes. He assured them that he would investigate and get back with them with some type of answer or results. So that lasted for about 30 minutes. After that, we had a discussion, and he wanted to know, because before we went in, he explained to the parents that I was the principal of the day and would I mind if I would join in the conference, and they said, no, they don't mind. So I was there hearing everything. Afterwards, we had a discussion. He asked me, what did I think? And I told him, again, I'm not going to get any specifics. We had a good discussion as far as what he's going to do and speaking with the teacher and speaking with the parents again. So I thought that was very uplifting to see that he's taking that time. Again, principals are very busy, and I learned that today. But their morning starts, like I said, like my morning started at 5:15. Car line, parents there, concerned about their kids, and rightly so. And principal is rightly so concerned about the care, safety of the students as well as the staff. When you have a situation like this and you say, well, I have to talk to my teacher. Now, again, the principal has a balancing act here. You don't want to go in and attack the teacher. Do you hear what I say? Because you have to work with that teacher every day. That teacher needs to know that they have your support, although he has to get the correct answer to the situation and get it resolved. But what I'm saying is a balancing act. You got to take care of the parents, you got to take care of the teacher, you got to take care of the student. So we went on, and we before I knew it, lunchtime, we went around to some of the classes, and I was very impressed with the classroom instruction and what was going on. And I talked to some of the students. Boy, I tell you, these students are very intelligent. They can carry on an intelligent conversation. I remember lunchtime, one of the students asked me, was that you doing the announcements this morning? Because I did do the announcement. Principal said, are you ready to do the announcement? You want to read over this a couple times? I read over, I did it. So the student said, was that you doing the announcement this morning? I said, yes. He turned to the other student, I told you that was him. So when they asked me that, several of them did. I said, well, how did I do? They said, you did very good. You're a good announcer. So I really love interacting with the students because I find them to be so intelligent. And one of the fifth graders, he asked me about recess. He said, Mr. Hamilton, because I'd introduced myself, he said, suppose you was a student. How much time you think you should have for recess? He asked me that. I'm saying, oh, wow. I said, well, what time does recess start? He said, 12:50. I said, well, what time do y'all have to go back into class? He said, we only get 10 minutes. I said, 10 minutes? I said, it's got to be more than that. I said, it's because you out there running and playing, and that time seemed like it goes so fast. But again, it's not about the recess. I was just impressed about the conversation that I had with the student. In other words, he put me in his situation. It just showed me the level of intelligence, how the teachers are out there doing their jobs, just teaching them. I had a wonderful day. 1:30 came, well, lunchtime came, and we didn't have ribeye steak. But what we did have, they catered some soul food in there. Mac and cheese, chicken, string beans, that's what we had. That's probably not a one-upper, but my stomach thinks so. So after lunch, then we had a fire drill. So I got to see that in action. Everything was orderly done. It was moved outside. They had the cards out there showing green. Everything was accounted for. If I had one word today, I would use the word efficiency. Okay? And a couple of words, safety, care, but things are being ran. And I don't want to go on because I can go on and on. But I just want to make sure that Principal David Copeland and his assistant principal, Dr. Little, the staff and everyone was very accommodating. And also they treat everybody there like family. Thank you.
Dr. Washington, Ms. Presley, Dr. Hazard, the secretary, I'm gonna miss her name, I think Ms. Tripp. They said Ms. Tripp the whole day. They showed me a great time. I would say this, I would never go back into school wearing this, okay? Now, Dr. Washington made it look so easy. She had her heels on, and every time she turned around, I said, I'm coming. But she tall, and she was using them legs night to keep up, and they said, you got your steps in the day? I got my steps in the day. But it started at 7:30, 7:45, we in the gym doing check-ins. She's not even asking who go where, everybody just going just like a machine. She put her gloves on, she's doing searches, she's going through the bags. The natural reaction of the kids when they come talking to her, when they getting their bags checked, or how she walked through the hallways, that just showed her presence, her leadership. And when I wasn't around her, even with Dr. Hazard and Ms. Presley, the way they spoke about her, a lot of times in situations like this when times people would use this opportunity to bash somebody or talk about the bad they see. I didn't get that from Dr. Washington, not at all. I mean, everybody I talked to, from kids, I even was in the cafeteria and they had a rap session. They started beating on the thing, and I just got in the mix. Let me hear what you got. But they whole interaction, you could tell even when Dr. Hazard walking around the hallway, he can just stop a kid, or they can just come to him natural while he's talking, and they were very respectful. Now you had your moments, we had to run to the basement, she ran to the basement, cause she was fast. I'm telling you, in heels. So she was in heels. Y'all don't understand what I'm talking about. I think my first hour, I came out this jacket, I was walking around. I walked in the bathroom about 3 times, so I tucked my shirt back in because she just kept moving. She was just going. But for her to talk about how they went from an F and came up to a C average for the school, that was a great number, and showing that in time, if everybody believed in her plan and believed in the culture change, it's going to happen, right? So, again, I had a great time with Dr. Washington, Miss Presley, Dr. Hauser, and Miss Tripp. Columbia High showed me nothing but love. Thank y'all.
Good evening. I'm not going to be up here that long. So I had the privilege of going to South Kilburn Elementary School with Mr. Thish. Please, I got it right? Okay. So my day started at 7 o'clock this morning at the bus line. So what was very intriguing to me, and some of the guys ahead of me said this, knowing students by name. Students referring back to the principal, vice principal, staff. Now, something that was said, it was a lot of walking today. It was a lot of walking, a lot of multitasking. I got to witness some things today, but it was positive. So, communication. What I took away from there today was communication, having to be able to listen to staff and the children. There were some problems today, and you got to listen to every side. So communication, and just, speaking on the level where the children understand you. Also, I got to witness where if there was something that was just short in another area, staff with no problem, step right in, fill that void, even though it might have been temporary. Then the staff, the respect that the principal has, you could see that. You could see leadership style, visiting different classrooms. And there were some things, I actually took my phone out, took some pictures. Pictures of a book that one staff member might have had on their desk about leadership. Because I took that picture, and I'm going to Amazon tonight or tomorrow, order that book, and I go to another staff member. I sat in a conference meeting. See another book. Well, wow, this might help me out in my career or something of interest. Took that picture. More walking. I was not prepared for that. And I purposely left my walkie-talkie in my vehicle, because I carry a walkie-talkie every day. But he had a walkie-talkie. His staff had a walkie-talkie. So, but also, it allowed me to come in to represent Columbia Police Department, to interact with the children on a positive note, where they were not afraid of the police. There was nothing said negative. We gave high five. We sat down during lunch. We talked and laughed. And 2:30, it's time for the buses. So I walked out, and the principal was close by, but I was like, I got this. I've been to the bus loop before. And giving the kids high five, getting on the bus, and someone asked me, are you coming back tomorrow? So, I really had a good time. Leadership at its finest. And the most important thing, I have to say, with all the principal, and they have their style, communication and listening. And I enjoy it myself.
Yes. Okay, we're going to do about 2 more, and I would love a lady to come up so we can have a diverse group. I want to hear from, oh, y'all are not playing today. I'm getting scared. Let me sit down. You go ahead. You can go next.
Okay. Hello, my name is Angela. I had the privilege today to be at Meadowfield Elementary with Dr. Blackwell, and it's my neighborhood school. So I had no idea there were over 600 children in that school every day. I get the privilege of walking by and hearing the laughter, and recess over there is something the whole neighborhood enjoys. But stepping inside of that school today is something that will be with me forever. A lot of you have said the things around teachers, parents, and students. I could feel that. I could say everything you said. I'm going to add something maybe that hasn't been said. The joy of the students. The joy of the students And it was so real and so palpable. And yes, they knew the principal knew their name. There was countless fist bumps. Yes, I should maybe not have worn heels today. Not my smartest move because we did get our steps in. But all of the little things just amounted to such an incredible experience. Yeah, there's new playground equipment, but there's the care around the students using it, and there's the care around listening to the students. You may or may not be familiar with Padilla program. I got to see and participate in Socratic circles and listen to these children with their brilliant minds and the way they think, and seeing the teachers react in real time to capture those thoughts and then share them with the students for them to feel heard. It just bred joy, it bred confidence, it bred something that I hope all of us community leaders can bring back to our schools as well, or our businesses as well. So thank you, Richland One, for doing this. This was such an amazing experience. Dr. Blackwell, you're doing amazing things, and really appreciate the opportunity to be in there today. So thank y'all.
Good afternoon. Jonathan Kirkwood. I work at Blue Cross Blue Shield. As my regular job, I'm also the treasurer of the NAACP. So if anybody needs to renew their membership, please see me afterwards. I just had to. Miss Glover would kill me if I did not say that. I had the privilege of being at Hayward Career Center, and about 5 minutes after the email came out, I responded right back. I knew I wanted to go to that school for 2 reasons. Number one, because I've done Principal for a Day a bunch of times. All of them being in the area where I live, St. Andrews Cluster, the best cluster in Richland School District 1. I just figured I'd say that out loud. And the other one is I wanted to learn more about the Career Center because I knew a few things, but wanted to learn a little bit more. And also the other reason is that I worked with Principal Washington when I was a school improvement council person at Columbia High School. Admittedly, we were a little disappointed, very disappointed when he was moved to the Hayward Career Center, being at Columbia High School. But when I was there today, I see why they made that decision, because he is somebody that is extremely knowledgeable about the many aspects of what goes on in the Career Center. Plus, he's a great leader. But one thing I wanted to mention specifically is that stood out to me is that seeing young high school students that were so focused. They were really focused on the activities that they were doing, be it cosmetology, the CDL license, everything else. Plus, hopefully you all like this nice fly haircut that I have, because it is because of a student. I actually got my haircut, my mustache trimmed, and I use them a little bit scruffy, but even they kind of clean this up a little bit. So if you're like, good grief, this is a handsome gentleman, you can insert your own laughter there. You can give the credit to those wonderful students. So they are on point. They were focused. Even for when it was time to take pictures, they were like, okay, yeah, I don't really want to take the picture. I'm focusing. I'm doing what I need to do. The young ladies that were doing the cosmetology, they were on point. And seeing young people that are so focused, I think was really wonderful for me. The other thing, and I'm going to do my 30-second editorial, is that another great thing about the Career Center is that it is an option. We push students going to college. And I think it's wonderful if students go to college. But I think we all know college is not necessarily for everyone, and that's not a bad thing. But the Career Center gives another option. And to see these young people get the beginning of their future so that they can take what they learned, get licenses while they're still in high school, and then either go to college or go work for a company, Scout Motors or whoever, that is a blessing. And it's, I think, something that a lot of people in the community don't know, that these type of programs, and I have like flyers because I'm going to be an advocate for this, so I actually have these flyers. But anyway, I think people really need to know about this hidden gem. So if you have students There's the college option. And what I didn't know is that the students have their home school and they spend part of the day, not the whole day, at the Career Center. I did not know that prior to today. But nevertheless, this is an option. I think it's a great option. I'm not going to say it should be mandatory, but I really think that as adults, we need to expand our horizons and think, do we have students that would benefit from these programs? And if so, I really think they should be involved with them, especially seeing kids so focused under the leadership of a principal like Mr. Washington. Thank you.
What great reflections, guys. It was so good to hear all the fantastic and interesting things that you learned today. We will now close out our reception with remarks from our superintendent, Dr. Todd Walker.
Well, good evening, everyone. Let's give a big round of applause to all of our principals and all of our principals for a day. And what a testament that so many folks wanted to share. And time didn't permit for us to hear from everyone that I'm sure wanted to share about the wonderful experiences that you've had throughout the day. It's kind of interesting. When I think about leadership, one of the things that comes to mind is some of you, like, you're old enough to remember the television programs where you would see viewer discretion. Don't try this alone. Viewer discretion, those who are performing these acts are trained, be advised. And leadership is one of those things that you shouldn't try alone, and you shouldn't do it if you're not trained. No matter what you see, there's always more. It's kind of like an iceberg. Only 10% of what is actually seen is what's really going on. The other 90% happens underneath. And being a principal is about having the 5 meetings before the meeting. It's about having the 6 conversations before the conversation that allows you to be effective with your parents, with your students, with your community. The most rewarding job, probably other than the one that I'm in now, was being a principal. For 10 years, I was a principal. The hardest job, other than the one that I have now, was being a principal. And it is a challenging job, and to do it well, you have to be a master craftsman. It is not for the faint of heart, and it is for those who are committed to the work. And so I'm glad that you had an opportunity to see some of the tremendous work that's happening in our schools in Richland School District 1. So proud of all of our leaders, and not only just our principals, but our executive staff that's here and the communications team that put this on, and glad to see so many of you that I've seen in other spaces and places across the city. And I just want to thank you sincerely and give you this appreciation. I believe that the depth and the breadth of appreciation determines the effectiveness and the longevity of collaboration. And so many of you talked about the power of listening and the ability of a principal, the ability of a leader to appreciate before you try to do anything is critical. The ability to have to connect with those that you're trying to lead is something that cannot be overstated. And so thank you, principals, for all of the work that you do. If nobody thanked you today, I'm thanking you, so it's got to last you another couple of weeks. You got Thanksgiving coming up, but you'll have some breaks in there. But thank you to all of our leaders for all that you do. And thank you, community, for leaning in with us and being part of this principal for the day. We look forward to connecting with you soon. I'd be remiss if I didn't give a small commercial break for our findings. We've been in our 90-day review for the last 3 or 4 months here. We're bringing that in for landing. So at December the 8th at 6 p.m., I think I have that right, at W.J. Keenan High School, we're going to be revealing our findings. And I tell people there's four rules to map reading. The first rule, if you're going to read a map, is know where you are. You can't go anywhere unless you first know where you are. So we're starting with an assessment to say, this is where we are. 90 days, we're going to talk about the glows and the grows. And then the next rule to map reading is know where you want to go. You got to have an endpoint in mind. So we're going to talk about in January when we come back, we're going to give you our vision for Richland 1 2030. Where are we going? And then the next few months after that are going to be about where are we relative to where we want to be? Because if we were there, we wouldn't have any more work to do. But the fact that we're not where we're going yet indicates that we have some opportunity to continue to strive together. And so we want you to come join the dream. We're rising together here at Richland 1. I appreciate you, and we'll see you very soon. My name's Todd Walker. I'm your superintendent, and I approve this message.
Thank you so much, Dr. Walker. Well, that concludes our program. We hope that you share all the exciting things you've seen today with your families, friends, and colleagues. As you leave, there's a small a token of appreciation over there on the table. Thank you again for your participation, and we hope to see you again next year. Have a great evening.